In India, the foundational axiom is the rule of law. This means laws apply identically to every citizen without exception. No individual, regardless of wealth or influence, is immune. If a powerful leader commits a crime, they face the exact same penalties. To execute this massive task, the government relies on three separate branches. The legislature writes the laws, the executive implements them, and the judiciary enforces them. In a system built on universal equality, the judiciary serves as the specific mechanism designed to ensure those rules are followed. The judiciary operates with three strict mandates: interpreting the laws, protecting the fundamental rights of citizens, and delivering objective justice. But theory is simple. Enforcement is where the friction happens. Guaranteeing identical application of the law across a vast and diverse democracy of over 1 billion people is a monumental logistical challenge. To deliver unbiased justice at that extreme scale, the system relies on two distinct features: a highly specific three-tiered hierarchical structure and absolute political independence. This interconnected architecture protects citizens from systemic unfairness. We can see the mechanics of this system by building it from the bottom up. The base layer consists of the district courts. These operate locally and handle the vast majority of civil and criminal cases for the average citizen. Above them is the middle tier, the high courts. These exist at the state level, with each state or group of states having one. High courts actively supervise the operations and decisions of the district courts directly below them. Finally, we reach the apex. The Supreme Court in New Delhi serves as the ultimate legal authority. Authority flows strictly downward. Any decision made by the Supreme Court is legally binding on all subordinate courts across the nation. Looking at the physical courts themselves, you can see the institutional weight they carry. This photograph shows a state-level high court, a massive structure tasked with maintaining legal order across millions of citizens. And this is the Supreme Court building in New Delhi, the final venue for legal interpretation in India. By tightly integrating these three tiers, the country maintains a unified interpretation of the law. It prevents individual states from creating contradictory legal standards. But a hierarchy is useless if it is vulnerable to outside pressure. To provide truly fair judgments, the judiciary must operate behind an absolute barrier, completely insulated from the executive and legislative branches of government. This independence is enforced through strict logistical rules. Judges receive fixed salaries, secure tenure, and face an exceptionally difficult removal process, entirely severing their reliance on political favor. This total insulation allows the courts to execute their dual mandate. The first is dispute resolution, objectively settling conflicts between individual citizens, state governments, and the national center. The second is judicial review. This is the supreme power of the courts to declare newly passed laws invalid if they violate the Constitution. Independence and judicial review are the core safety valves of the Republic. They guarantee the state cannot legally weaponize its authority to overrule constitutional rights. Within this structure, courts divide legal friction into two primary pathways: criminal and civil. Criminal cases deal with serious offenses against society itself, like theft or violence. The government initiates the prosecution, and the outcome is strictly punitive, usually resulting in jail time or fines. Civil cases, conversely, focus on private disputes over property or contracts. Here, the affected individuals file the lawsuit themselves, and the court seeks a restorative outcome, typically ordering financial compensation to the injured party. This strict division allows the system to efficiently sort millions of conflicts, applying punitive justice to public threats and restorative justice to private disagreements. However, theoretical structure doesn't always equal practical access. While the courts are technically open to everyone, vulnerable populations hit massive real-world roadblocks. The standard legal process is notoriously expensive. Judgments face severe delays stretching over years, and the poorest citizens often lack the basic legal awareness to begin a case. To bypass these barriers, courts introduced a structural patch called public interest litigation, or PIL. A PIL bypasses the rule that only a direct victim can sue. It allows any citizen or organization to file a case in court entirely on behalf of the broader public interest, rather than for personal benefit. Looking at this thick smog covering the India Gate, you can see a systemic threat that affects millions of people who cannot afford private lawyers. A single PIL allows the court to intervene and force environmental regulations. It is equally vital for protecting voiceless populations. As seen in this protest against child labor, PILs mandate government action against human rights violations and exploitation. Without legal aid and the PIL mechanism, justice remains an abstract theory. These tools are bridges that convert constitutional promises into actual reality for the most vulnerable citizens. We've looked at the complete machinery, a three-tier hierarchy, insulated by independence, sorting criminal and civil disputes, and extending access through public interest litigation. Every gear in this machine is engineered to enforce that initial axiom, the rule of law. As the unbiased protector of the Constitution, the judiciary ensures the power of the state remains subordinate to the rights of the citizen.